my name is Zoe. I am the Gypsy Psychic, and today we're gonna talk about feelings. I know, who wants to just sit here and talk about their feelings? But understanding how emotions impact your magical practice is so important. In my video about intention, I talked a little bit about how your feelings are super important when you are setting your intention. Kind of like with the law of attraction, like attracts like. The more love you feel, the more happiness and joy you feel during a love spell, the more effective it will be. However, if you're feeling really sad and angry during a love spell, you're probably not going to get the results you're looking for. Emotions are all over the place most of the time, and especially when you're passionate about something, it's hard to control those emotions. And I'm not saying you have to keep them in check all the time, but the more grounded you are and the more balanced and positive you are, the easier it will be and the more effective your spell will be. The most effective spells are often the ones that you feel so passionate about. The more passion, the more powerful it is. But passion isn't necessarily a good thing. There's a lot of people that are angrily passionate about something, and that's okay. But that type of energy is often very unstable, and it's hard to direct it. So your state of mind, your mental health, your feelings, and emotional well-being, if that's out of balance before you cast your spell or before you start focusing on your intention, then yeah, things are not going to really turn out for you very well. Strong feelings and fixed conscious intent combined make a powerful spell. And honestly, most of us have a really hard time with that. Why? Because we're human, because it's normal to feel up and down sometimes. It's normal to be distracted, to have stuff going on. It's normal to feel angry. It's normal to feel sad. It's normal to feel any emotion, even like conflicting ones. So part of being a really good magic practitioner is gonna be like focusing on also evening out those feelings and learning how to have more control over them and mastery over them. Most of the time, we want to cast a spell because there's something that we want to fix or that we don't like. Like we want money because we're kind of in a shitty place and we're broke. When we are so focused on what we lack and all our problems, when we're creating spells, then our intention is not coming from a place of love. So we can want the best thing ever, but we also have to have our feelings align with it. If you're casting a spell to get your ex back, ask yourself, am I just feeling lonely? Do I feel like there's this void? Why do I really want my ex back? Do I really want him back, or is there something that I really need to focus on? Sometimes we have a self-martyr mentality that can be really toxic. Like maybe we just want to inflict pain on ourselves because our ex brought us pain and we're in need of that kind of feeling. We have layers and we really need to explore that before we do any type of work. We need to do that inner work. Also, a lot of people who are just getting into magic and practicing it, they'll start with a really nice spell, they'll have figured out their intention, and it is meant to attract awesome things into their life, whatever that may be, but they're very angry when they do it. Like if you're having a bad day, it happens, and you are unable to like mentally focus, your negative emotions are clouding your judgment, that can make things worse. So even after you've come to terms with what you want, what that desire is, if you're having a terrible day, you should not be practicing magic because it will not be as effective. There can be consequences. I knew someone who hated their job. They wanted to quit so bad. They would complain to me all the time about it. They hated their boss so much. And they were just one of those people who was just really down about themselves too, and things weren't working out for them, and they just were like always complaining and always upset about it. And they were in this really negative state of mind because their work was like causing them to suffer. They really didn't like their boss. And they were just getting into magic and practicing magic. So after work one day, they went home and they angrily decided that they needed a new job. And so they performed a spell that they'd been working on to find this new job. But even though they were focusing on their new career and they kept to their intention, their anger was so destructive and so powerful. And all their hatred towards their boss that they'd been ranting about was channeled into that spell. And so yeah, things did change for them. They definitely changed jobs, but that's because all that anger that they channeled, all that hatred, it had consequences because their boss fired them the next day and it destroyed their career. Obviously, they're still fine now, but for a really long time, they didn't have a job. They were in a worse place, in a worse mindset, because their boss just randomly fired them. That's not really what they had wanted. Obviously, that's not a really healthy way to move from career to career, and it can be detrimental to your career, especially their industry, the field that they were in. It was not good. But you see, they focused on everything. They did everything right in their spell, but they did it from a place of negativity and hatred and anger, and that has consequences, and they had to pay that price. So that's something that you really need to be careful of. It's very important to center yourself. Check in with yourself. How am I feeling? Should I be doing this spell right now? Even if you really want to, even if it's perfect timing, the moon is right where you want it to be, and everything's working. Emotions like anger and fear and sadness, they can be very detrimental to your practice. Yeah, sure, they can be powerful, but they're also the types of energies that are very unpredictable and very difficult to control. A lot of the time, these types of consequences often manifest as curses. Sometimes curses are accidental. My friend could have easily have cursed her boss, and that's not something to be proud of necessarily. Or she could have cursed herself. It's not something you really want to mess with unless you really know what you're doing. The thing is, it's really hard to keep a clear, focused mind and be super emotional. Now there's ways, if you are pretty upset or you're coming from a place of darkness, a lot of the time there's a way to channel that to be more determined and to kind of channel that into this centered state of being. But that takes practice. So remember to start small. Remember that even the smallest spells, even the smallest thoughts, when you're thinking them and you're feeling negatively, that's going to impact whatever comes your way. If you have any questions, please comment below, or if you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe to my channel, and I hope you keep watching. Bye bye.